then yeah, I was disappointing.
Yeah.
Because my phone was Krista,
Okay.
which is not a common name.
I know who Kristen is, that's okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, like Kristen, Krista, and like I was also the only Krista.
I just know a lot of Catherines growing up, and then they're all like, Kathy or Katie or, you know, it's version of it. How's the house?
You're pretty good, except for those.
Yeah. The front, whoever's saying he's fixing the others. Yeah, I was having to not put it out, and he gets it out, and he's like, oh, there's no letters back here. It is falling off, and I'm like, I'll be darned, you're right.
Let's go into a house where I probably have to apologize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're away this next weekend.
Okay.
Because we're going to Penn State.
Fine.
My brother's moving.
Oh,
So when we put my parents there, I'm going to go to the game.
I love it.
Yeah, we're staying with my brother. Because it's 3.5 hours from here to Penn State. It's only an hour and a half from where my hometown, Penn State.
Okay.
So I got to come in.
Well, Orion and I, when she was going to school in Williamsport, like we drove by Penn State to get down there, so in the area. And then a friend of mine actually works in IT for me together, so I've been down there a couple of times.
Yeah, Ben's currently in Alabama.
Cool. Oh my gosh, fun.
We drove from Penn State to Auburn.
I drove to New Orleans. 22 hours. No, it was fun. It was a fun trip.
But yeah, the house is good fun. We painted and my dad.
Nice.
I need getting boxes taken care of.
It's lovely.
I
It's a long run to have your office.
went through everything, but like every time I move, I feel everything. Like I don't want to unbox it.
We did that a lot.
We did all of that. Also, I have between 6 and 7 books.
Yeah, we need to.
But I'm like, no.
Take care of the library and give them the kids who need that.
got scars.
Yeah.
We're talking about going to the Dodgers game today.
Hmm?
Going to the Dodgers game. That's what we're gonna do for our anniversary.
Fun.
We did our anniversary last year.
Hey, so we have a meeting.
Yeah, you got the email?
Yes, it's in there.
And
Yes,
I'd rather
yes,
do
yeah.
kind of and
So who is,
Yeah.
what's their position?
It's more.
So,
Maryland members.
he's the head of the student life at,
So we're in the rough.
you know,
can use this one. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to all who are joining here in person and all joining via our live stream on YouTube. Wonderful to celebrate this last Shabbat of the year. Well, sort of last Shabbat of the year, right? We have, next week is really the last Shabbat, but this is part of the sort of last weekend, if you will, before Rosh Hashanah and our celebrations. And we'll talk a little bit more about tomorrow night in our announcements, but for now, we'll begin on page 2 as we welcome Shabbat and light our candles.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Yes, you're going. Thank you. So we are in the period of Elul, meaning a month that precedes Rosh Hashanah. And it is during that time where we do some hard work. We do some hard work. Yes, no, not me. Yes, I do some other work, but we do hard internal personal work, right? Of asking for forgiveness, of settling things between people. And what wakes us up into that is the sound of the shofar. And it is each day as Elul continues, we hear the blast of the shofar. If in Jewish life, nothing happens in a vacuum. And so everything is sort of dependent and connected to whatever happened before. So we have this month of Elul, known as a month also of Slichot, of asking for forgiveness. And it's during that month that we, if you are Sephardic especially, you would go to a morning service and hear the sound of the shofar each morning. So I want to begin this evening actually with an opportunity for us to have a bit of a dialogue around two areas. One, things that you are looking forward to in the next year, and things that you'd like to leave behind. So we're going to hear the sound of the shofar, and then take a few moments of silence to sort of think about those two ideas, what we're looking forward to, what we'd like to leave behind. And then we'll perhaps do some sharing. What are you looking forward to? We have newlyweds. We have newlyweds, beginning a very different kind of year. Yes, lovely. Graduation. Yes. Another life shift. A shift between that student life and God willing, a professional position, yes? My daughter started her first job as a teacher just a few weeks ago, so it's great. Yes, what else?
Healing.
Yeah. Healing of body and soul and mind and heart.
All the above and the world.
Yeah. The world certainly has healing to do. College. Yes, exciting things. New transitions, new experiences. New things to look forward to.
A new niece or nephew, my sister-in-law is expecting.
Yeah, lovely. That's wonderful. New life, new life.
People getting along with one another.
Yes. Sometimes that's a bigger struggle than we think it should be. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There are so many different aspects of Jewish life that I think we are looking forward to. Our high holidays in person, an opportunity to be in person, also on live stream, but in person, for sure. And that changes the whole feeling of it, right? Changes the whole dynamic when we can be together. And what are things we're interested in sort of leaving behind? Yes, happy to leave COVID-19, 20, 21, and 22 behind us. Yeah, violence. Violence, intolerance. Fear. Yeah. So many different aspects of our lives that impact us and make us afraid. And so as the year begins, and in this last moments of time between now and next Sunday night, when we gather together and begin Rosh Hashanah, a time to look inward to ourselves. Those moments of personal reflection, of time to think of what we'd like this next year to be, what we'd like to fill this next year with. Our tradition teaches a lot about thinking of sweetness, right? We use apples and honey and the sweetness of gathering. So as we celebrate Shabbat this evening, we'll begin on continue on page 10 with Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Kabbalat Shabbat, that service of welcoming Shabbat into our hearts, into our lives. And we turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi as we welcome our Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi Likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabla Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabla. Take a look at the first stanza there. Shomer v'zachor, keep and remember. A reflection of those two injunctions for Shabbat as part of the Ten Commandments. Keep and remember a single command. The only God caused us to hear. The Eternal One is God's name. God's name is one. Glory and praise are God's. And if you look down through that list, actually, anybody know who wrote this? It's simple. If you take the first letter of each of the stanzas, it spells out the guy's name. Shlomo Shlomo Alkabetz is his name. And he was a mystic in the 15th century and was responsible for composing this liturgical poem. So we rise together as we face the back of the room and we say, Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha v'tzohola, toch emunah am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Enter in, O crown of your husband, enter in gladness, enter in joy. Come to the people that keeps its faith. Enter, O bride, enter, O bride. And we, please be seated, and we continue, page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzetchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 26. We rise for Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabha, ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, le'alam alal me'al mahaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shihirata, tushbechata v'nechemata dahamihiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Please be seated as we continue on page 30 with Ma'ariv Aravim, that prayer that thanks God for the wonders and the miracles of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu, uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed, ki hem chayeinu, ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We turn together to page 34. As we join in Shema, we rise together. Read it right here. Thanks.
Hi.
Okay, let's join in the Shema.
Right. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam
amazing? I pull a fantastic voice out of the woodwork.
I knew you were going to make
Please
something.
be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך לחיות לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהים.
We lost the tune on
We
that.
did.
Okay, hold on. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Let's join together on page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We join together in Mi Chamocha, page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עוזב אלה, נורא תהילות Osef elech Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, Osef ele. Nora tehilot, Osef ele. Adonai yimloch leolam vaed.
V'ne'amar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, v'galo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al
kol amo Yisrael.
Ve'al
Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. So we join together in thanking God for Shabbat and all of its rest and wonders. V'shamru, page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise together for Amidah, page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nechem, Leman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayel Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, מחייל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום ובכל סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Let's join together in the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirach na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Let's join together, top of page 61, in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lecho HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim leolam.
We take a few moments, moments of silent prayer, moments to leave aside the complexities of our lives and look inward, inward to those thoughts, those prayers that are in our own hearts and minds. So moments of silence.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yemru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We take a few moments and call to mind all those members of our community, all those who struggle with illness. We think of everyone who continues to wrestle with COVID-19 and all of its effects. We especially mention in our congregation those who need our blessing of healing for one illness or malady or another, whether it's a healing of mind or body or heart or soul. We send our energies of healing to all those who need. We especially call to mind Pat Hanna, Doug Ford, Steve Tottleben, Merv Weinman, Diane Levy, Joan Rosenthal, Corinne McCarthy, John Gayampa, Scott Gordon, Sarah Parton, Frank Fusaro, Renee Goldman, Phil DiFrancesco, Jake Kaler, Debbie Perry, Amy Doherty, Dick Metcalf, Wanda Ahart, Sharon Johns, Shelley Schloss, Julie Matthews, Dane Marcinowski, Maggie Lee, Nyack Grinberg, Andy Green, Robert Wozniak, Cheryl Marcinowski, Julia Moscato, Pam Waters, and Lloyd Rhodes. If you're joining us via live stream and you have a name that you would like to add, please add it into our chat box. If you are here in person, as I look around, feel free to share a name. We turn together to page 252. And there we join in our blessing, 253, and there we join in our blessing for healing.
Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We talked a little bit before, but I'll just touch a little bit on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night begins Slichot. So if you were in Israel, play with me a little bit, okay? If you were in Israel and you were walking down the street and somebody bumped into you, you would say, oh, Slicha, I'm sorry. It's a way of saying, excuse me, forgive me. And so on the Saturday night that precedes Rosh Hashanah, and somebody is going to say, well, wait a minute, Rosh Hashanah should be next week, not this week. But the rabbis are brilliant because they say, if you're going to focus and get everybody ready, they need time, right? You need time. So you can't go from Slichot on Saturday to Rosh Hashanah on Sunday. So the rabbis say there has to be 4 days between Slichot and Rosh Hashanah. And if Shabbat doesn't, if there isn't those 4 days, then you revert to the previous Saturday night. And of course, when it's on Sunday, then you have to, we revert to this week. So this week, we're joining together in Slichot tomorrow evening. Our program is that we will have a fantastic dinner, barbecue dinner put on, mostly by Edie Joseph. Thank you, Edie, who's with us on live stream, I think. I think Edie's there. Yep, Edie's there. Great. And so we hope that you will join us for that. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll join together in our Slichot service. So what is a Slichot service? It is a little bit like the preview of High Holidays. So it gives you just a little bit of a taste of the High Holiday music. Jesse will be here with Bruce, and we'll have a taste of that music as we refocus ourselves and get ourselves thinking about the holidays to come. And so we'll have our service from 7 to 7:30, and then we are so lucky to be one of the very few world premiere sites to show a preview of the Ken Burns documentary, America and the Holocaust. So we're partnering with WQLN, and we've opened it to the community, and hopefully we'll have people who come and participate with us. Because it's such an interesting connection, right? What is the documentary about? It's about America's response to the Holocaust. In a sense, this documentary is looking at America's sense of slichot, America's sense of teshuvah, of where we were and what we were doing as a community, as a country, while these atrocities were happening during the Holocaust. And then we'll have a conversation with two of the three panelists are esteemed. So we have Mark Tannenbaum and Amy Comey from the university, and I'm also on the panel. But the other two are far more esteemed than I am. Who will help Amy Carney, who's a professor and teaches Holocaust classes, and just is a fantastic resource for us. And so we'll have a conversation about what that was and some of the content of the documentary. So looking forward to that, and hope that you'll join us. And so as we collectively think about slichot and the things that we like to send off or leave behind us, and also personally, and what did it mean for a whole generation and a whole community and a whole country to offer that sense of apology and sort of self-evaluation for that time. So looking forward to that. So we wish Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And we are going to continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We're in the period of Shiva, those first 7 days of mourning for Ruth Wadley. That we had that funeral earlier today, and so we wish condolence and love to the Wadley family. We're in the period of Shloshim, those first 30 days of mourning for Cindy Rhodes. And we observe Yartzeit on this Shabbat for Bertha Strauss, Giza Spitzer, Richard Zachs, Morris Wexler, Samuel Elkeles, Rosalie Brand, Barbara Wisnick, Jacob LaSalle, Abraham Lee Brown, Lucille Frank Hanauer, Ella Spangenthal, Mina Sarah Zachs, A. Louis Strauss, Abraham Immerman, Anna Waxelbaum, Martha Marks Greenwald, Robert Baker, Dorothy Fellheim, Theodore Kapp, David Berlin, Herman Klein, Esther Umans, Minnie Levy, and Ethel Shapira Silver. If you're joining us via live stream and you have a name that you would like to add in memory, please add the name into the chat box. If anybody would like to add a name and they're here in person, please do so. We turn together to page 294 as we rise for Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. Please be seated. I'd like to invite Craig forward to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Services this week are in memory of Richard H. Zachs, in memory of Ella Spangenthal, and in memory of Ethel Shapira Silver. As Rabbi has already alluded to, there's a lot going on this weekend, the coming weeks, and so he already gave part of the announcements talking about tomorrow night. I'll just fill in a little bit. And first off is that we do have Torah study tomorrow morning at 9:30. So that is still going on. And then Gesher is on Sunday. That is still going on this weekend. And so if there's anything else you need to know, take a look at the emails, the text, or the temple topics that you get, and there'll be information in there. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
And if you want to pick up a prayer book.
Oh, yes. How could I forget about that? I'm doing that, yeah. So if you need to pick up a High Holidays prayer book, a Machzor, please stop in on Sunday. What's the time? 1 to 3 o'clock on Sunday. Here in the temple, 1 to 3, and you can pick up your Machzors for the High Holidays. Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi.
Do you want to just do a social one? Up to you. Okay. Or how about Ma'afe Hayom?
Don't know that one. Don't know it.
Hine Matov?
I know that one.
We'll do that one. Okay. We're going to conclude with Hine Matov. Page 10.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
We thank God with Kiddush for this beautiful Shabbat. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tzihiyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekach Like,
I'll hold the plate. Okay,
Good.
I thought you were offering. Hamotzi lechem in haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem in haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach Eva, thank you.
That's one word for it.
Okay. And Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow.